Let's take a look at this as a 4-year period. First year, second year, third year, fourth year. What you going to be doing in the fourth year? You're going to be really, really busy. Does he run for president again? With this chart, says he might.
He will.
But once he gets used to chewing that cud, he might be interested in furthering his goals to make America great again. So, whatever that means. So the process is when I did Obama's inauguration, everybody kept wondering, oh my God, a black man, he's going to get shot sure as hell. Which is one of the reasons why Colin Powell didn't run for president. He'd have got it, I think, if he'd have ran a little earlier. But everybody thought there were going to be assassinations. Wasn't there. It's not here.
So would that mean that third year is kind of quieter?
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, this is happening, this is sort of like a quiet period. But remember, I have Mercury, I have the moon and Mercury and Venus somewhere in the chart.
Yeah.
So that will have some reflection. An empty house does not mean nothing.
Right.
It means that something's happening in the other area. And remember, the house always wants to be where the planet is. So the second house of Gemini wants to be in Capricorn because here's where Mercury is. Same thing with the house of Virgo. It wants to be where Mercury is. So they're really going to a very strong 8th house position. Okay? Doesn't mean nothing's happening. Just means that it's happening not as obvious here as it is elsewhere.
So in this chart, Trump is Venus?
No,
Is Trump Venus in this chart? He's Venus.
I love Venus here.
Yeah. But he is Venus. He's represented by Venus? Or who is he represented by?
The country's represented by Venus.
Right.
He
So
is the president.
Okay, so
Oh,
he
yeah,
is
so he's
Saturn.
So he's going to be Saturn.
But in the 8th house,
And that's his guardian angel. And in the 8th house, that's his concerns, and that's the whole country's concerns. How much money is he going to make off of this country? Is he going to bilk us? Or is he going to give up his assets? I don't think so, but I don't think he's going to maintain a strict control. This is probably where they're going to talk about conflict of interest, because remember that Mercury's here. And it's saying, come on, transparency. And, well, Capricorn isn't all that transparent. Can be, but boy, that's really an elective. Yeah.
I was just thinking, so they always do the inauguration at the same time, so we have every president is in the 10th house as the sun. So they had to be doing astrology since the beginning of that. And also,
Our forefathers were astrologers, very much so. If you look at the charts that are supposedly the United States, you'll see there's a great deal of wisdom, no matter what chart comes out. But we're very definitely a Cancer nation, always have been. We go in, beat the shit out of them, bomb their whole goddamn area, and then give them money to build it back up again. Anyway, so out of the processes that when we're looking at charts, we're always looking. See, this is empty too, but it's ruled by the moon, which is over here, which is home, homeless.
I like that idea.
See what's going on? So there are some positives in this chart. I don't think this guy wants to lose, and I don't think he wants to lose face more than anything else. So he's got some good brain trust. That Pluto here indicates a real strong thing with education, because that's and foreign lands and foreign countries. And who's the United Nations here? The 11th house.
So is it good then that the 7th house of open enemies is ruled by Mars being in the guardian angel in the 11th?
Yeah. The homeland security here will be highly thought of. So whoever's going to be taking care of that will probably be well thought of, well placed, and probably assigned by the Assembly of Generals, who they think might be able to calculate that best. So the circumstances, you can see here that each of these places are really pulling in some in. Again, Virgo, going back into this 8th house, is there going to be money? Is there going to be finances that are going to come to that circumstances? You know, as a nation, we're looking at that again, and there's finances back up here again in the 8th house. Is that going to be able to support both of these places? What are we looking at? We have the moon in the 3rd and the 4th house, and it's disruptive. Well, that's automatic, because going in already, the moon is disruptive with that swearing in, because nobody wants him in the presidency. So we can already see that that negative moon is playing a big part of it. But once again, we got a real strong mutual reception coming on, and that's going to say a lot. And mutual reception says a lot. I like what Obama said, give him a chance. And so did Hillary, as a matter of fact, didn't she? I lost. Well,
Would you look at Pluto in the ninth and say that there, during his presidency, could be a major transformation with foreign policy and foreign affairs and laws?
the law of the land, ninth house. And yes, foreign policy, ninth house. Foreign countries, ninth house. God, religion, universities, all ninth house. A lot of power directed there.
Would that be like also terrorists, because you're looking at terrorists around the world as well?
Yeah, Pluto.
I would look at this as terrorists with a major shot at Mars and maybe Pluto as a subtone. Because Pluto doesn't rule Scorpio for me. It's like a fixed star. It's just sitting there. And nothing is really hitting it except this sextile, which tells me they may be able to detect a lot before anything happens. I mean, they're already starting to find cells all over the world. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the world news, but they're arresting people like crazy all over the world. Oh,
Well, we also, when you look at him as the president, Saturn, and it's in the house of other people's money taxes. Will it be changes in taxes as well, or organizing
well, he's
taxes?
already talking about, exonerating all the, is that the right word?
The student loans.
The student loans.
Expunging it.
Oh, he's talking about
Expunging.
expunging.
Yeah, expunging.
He's already talking about expunging that. And I'll be honest with you, with this negative moon here, I also think property taxes might take a dive, because that's one of the things that this is also promising. And, in order to get us back into an economy or an economical system that works, we need to have lower taxes. It's one we don't see well. It's the 6th, the 8th, and the 12th are what we don't see. And it's the shit that goes on behind screen doors and all that other
Well,
stuff.
he's in there, isn't he?
Huh?
Isn't he in there? He's
He.
in-
The president,
The president. He's in there. He's in the 8th house.
Saturn.
Well, the Saturn is, yeah. I mean, this is where the controversy is going to be about, is he going to give up his holdings and let somebody else run him? That's what this buzz is all about. That Mercury-Saturn thing is all about that. But he is very well aware of what's going on as far as how to keep his money intact. Come on, he's not going to just turn his nose up. He can't. Nobody in their right mind would, so you can't expect him to either.
Why would they, if you're going by dignity, I get that it's 0 degrees at the top of the chart, the sun, but why would they do it under Aquarius when it puts the sun in judgment? If they understood
Freeman, Freemason.
Oh.
You have to remember they were astrologers and they were Freemasons when they were doing this. And what does Aquarius rule?
11th house.
11th house in independence and organizations,
Community.
community. All of these wonderful things that the 11th house rules is what it's symbolizing. So here the guy comes in filled with light, going to shine his light on all of these wonderful Aquarian things. Everybody gets a drink of water.
I see, because if they did it like with the sun in Leo, then he would be too powerful, really, right? I mean,
Overly powerful.
overly.
Yeah,
That's
that
why
would be a bit-
Aquarius makes sense, really.
Yeah,
It's
you
the
want a
sun.
detriment.
What about education in that chart?
Just the education, again, Saturn has taken a whole strong toll of it, and Pluto is part of it. And so there's going to be a look at that as well, because, well, these two Saturns are over here in the 8th house of money, taxation, and all the other things that are coming in. And, the fact that we pay so much for education is ludicrous. So this got part and parcel of it. But Saturn here, I don't know that it's that, because it's in a balanced position. See, it's in that Sagittarius. So it can't really squeeze all the way down. And it can't inflate any more than it is. So it's really in a nice little balance, like Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. Neither of them are going anywhere. They're going to be middling, all about the middle.
So is it good conjunction of Jupiter and
I think so. Yeah, I like all conjunctions. Mars, Venus, it slows down the energy of Mars and it picks up the energy of Venus. Jupiter and Saturn are sort of like a more interest in, not too much, not too little, but this way. So it makes, I know a lot of
It's
people
like
have that.
branding. Yeah.
It goes this way, yeah. And they love ancient history. My nephew has a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. He has a degree in ancient history. I wrote books on it, and I have a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. A lot of people I met with it like history, like the Saturn, time, and how far back by Jupiter can you go. See? So the process then is very good. So I like them. I like the Sun-Moon conjunction because, you know, it's a nice beginning. It's an inner awakening. There's a lot of nice things about these conjunctions. They really tie in with a lot of strength. So.
What do you think about medical?
The home services, and this is also part of that cross access. But again, I think we're looking at, with Jupiter and Libra, that ain't bad, especially with Venus and Pisces. It's a nice mutual reception. I mean, not quite an Antitia, but still close to that too. Because this is 22, if it was 8, if this was 8, I'd be rolling in the hay. You know, screaming out dirty names and things like that, because this is really what it's about. But the fact that they're in each other's sign is nice, and each other's Antitia almost is nice. So there's a lot of nice vibration coming out of this Venus and Mars. And Mars loves Pisces. You know? You ever go rowboat in a canoe? That's Mars and Pisces. The energy that it takes to row your boat gently down the stream. Not hurriedly down the stream with only Mars, but gently down the stream with Venus. So when we do that, we have to do it in rounds.
But Mars and Pisces, as a people, they are not compatible in a sense. They? As a not planets, but people. If some like Pisces meets Aries, it's not
No,
compatible.
it's by contrast to Aries, it has a problem. Yes.
Yes.
However, it's the triplicity of a water sign, Mars. So Mars likes water signs. You have to swim in order to get where you're going if you're crossing a river. See, all of these things is that Mars energy expended in water is to get it put together. So it's friendlier here, actually. And I'll tell you one thing about Mars here. Wonderful assassins, because you don't see it coming. But also the idea of Pisces is sacrifice. So there's going to be some sacrifice going on. Any questions on this? I mean, is it obvious? Can we see what we were talking about? Or
So it
do you
looks
have
very
questions?
positive, right?
It seems to be more positive than negative. It has that inflection to it. Has some nice things to it. It's got some strong positions. The sun's very powerful here, but it always is in an inauguration. I wish these planets were more in angular houses. I'd like to see more angular houses coming up. But as the chart progresses, it does this. So this will eventually move here and all that. So these will move. This will move here. So the chart, as they go 14, 15, 16, 20, 25, 30. Eventually Gemini will be rising and all this stuff will be higher. So we'll see most of that developing. But yeah, I have not a great feeling. I have a good feeling. Yeah.
And how would you use, because I never get to ask you this question, how would you use the moon trine Neptune? Because it's a positive, right? Even though the moon isn't in a good sign, but
Well, it's in Pisces.
Neptune is.
So they're watering up. And this negativity is going to go from Neptune to Venus to Mars. So it's going to be considering a trine throughout the period of the moon's tenure. So, yeah. The only thing it's going to do is the moon will square that at the very opening procedures. But 9 days or 9 degrees, 9 months, 9 years, whatever it is, that'll eventually move here. But it will, by tenure, do something. And it's supporting Mercury at 6 degrees this way. If we move it down by 3 degrees at 6, it's supporting that Mercury. So there's that. So there's a lot of things going on here that show support in the chart. Very interesting. I don't know what Uranus will do in the 12th house, but if anything, we probably will never know. And this could be threats that we never hear about, but come this close.
People's 12. But he wants, I was thinking of him, that he wants, because where Uranus is where people want freedom. But it's the people's 12th house. So
Well, anybody in jail would want freedom, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they have that.
To go for that.
They might, maybe he's going to pardon some people.
Obama is going to do that. Most of the drug addicts, which they should be released. And we got guys serving 20 years for a crime now that's no longer a crime. serving, but it was a crime then, so the intent of the law was what was transgressed, and this is what they're wrestling with. So, but I think they should be thrown out. This stupid laws we have sometimes. And oh, another thing I like, any new law that comes in will precede another law, and it's off the books. We have never done that. Because every law that's passed, we passed, when I was doing Perceptions magazine, we did a survey on laws that were passed a year. And there are approximately 60,000 laws a year, approximately. About 5,000 laws a month are being passed around the country. They never, ever supersede the law they're covering. They are added unto. So law that was written in 1876
It's still there.
is still there. And according to the railroad, if two trains meet at a crossroads, neither can proceed until the other one does. These are the kind of laws that still sit in the books. So hopefully you'll get somebody to go through there and clean up the library a little bit too. Because we need that. I like the moon in Scorpio. It says there's room for improvement. That's what Scorpio tells us, there's room for improvement. You know?
Go deep.